What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're doing well. So, before we get into NFL free agency, a couple of things I want to briefly talk about. The Yankees announced that starting pitcher Gerrit Cole is having Tommy John surgery. He will miss the entire season. That's a big loss for the Yankees. Gerrit Cole, a former Cy Young Award winner, 2 years ago, one of the league's premier starting pitchers and has been for a while. It's really tough. Yankees got a bunch of injuries. Stan looks like he's going to start the year on the IL. LeMahieu was out. Lucas Healer, one of their starting pitchers, who was Rookie of the Year last year, he's going to be out for a couple of months to start the year. So, a bunch of injuries for the Yankees heading into the regular season. And Cole, obviously, he's kind of the icing on the cake. They have a lot of starting pitching depth. This will probably put Marcus Sherman back into the rotation. Otherwise, and after that, I'm not sure. You brought in Max Fried in the offseason. You have Carlos Rodon there. You have Clark Schmidt there. So you have some pieces there still. But that's a tough one. Also, he's 34 years old. He dealt with arm issues last year in the beginning of the year. He's going to throw in a lot of innings. It's going to be, it might be somewhat tough to come back from for Gerrit Cole coming off Tommy John at 35. It's not ideal. It's been done before, though. Verlander, came off Tommy John at 38, 39, maybe 40, and won a Cy Young. In, what was it, 2022, whatever it was, with the Houston Nationals, right before he signed with the Mets. So it's been done before. He's an excellent pitcher, but for now, a big loss for the Yankees. He has Tommy John. Also, Florida Panthers defenseman Aaron Ekbald has been suspended for 20 games for violating PEDs. He's the first NHL player to be suspended for violating PEDs since Nate Schmidt back in 2018. All I gotta say is, if you can't do a time, don't do the crime. So, Ekblad has been suspended. And also, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts has received a 4-year extension worth $8 million a year. $8 million a year for MLB manager is crazy. For Dave Roberts, to me, is Nick Sirianni of baseball, except he's a much nicer guy than Sirianni. He's a fine, head coach, fine manager, but it's also a lot of it. The reason that he's won as many games as he has and has a championship is because his roster is beyond stacked, and the team and the GM probably deserve a little more credit than him. And now we'll see if do other managers say, if Dave Roberts worth 8, I should be worth 8.5 or 9. So we'll see what happens. But Dave Roberts is a huge extension from the Los Angeles Dodgers to remain their manager for the foreseeable future. Now to NFL free agency, the Cleveland Browns made a trade with the Eagles. They get Kenny Pickett from the Philadelphia Eagles, and they send DTR and a 5th to the Eagles. So look, Kenny Pickett is a tiny bit better than DTR. DTR is the worst quarterback I've ever seen. He's got 1 touchdown and 10 picks over the last couple of years in his NFL career. He had a game this year where he threw the ball 47 times and didn't have 200 yards. I don't know how that guy made it to the NFL. He was an undrafted guy, I believe, or maybe a very late pick, but I don't even know if he was starting a UFL. Certainly isn't. He's no NFL quarterback. Shouldn't even be near the NFL field. But good lord, I do not know why. That troubles me. Kenny Pickett might be there starting us. Deshaun Watson's probably not going to play this year because he tore his Achilles again. So, they have a second pick. Will they draft a quarterback? I don't know. But right now, Kenny Pickett's probably sitting at the top of their depth chart because, with Jameis Winston is now a free agent. So, yeah, I don't know what they're planning to do. They're a mess. You paid Myles Garrett $1 zillion, and and that roster was not very good. Nick Chubb's a free agent, but he's aging. The receiving core is a little weaker now. So you traded Amari Cooper last year. The offensive line is aging, isn't that good anymore, and just and poor Kemp Stefanski, who I like as a coach. I think he's a very good coach. Just that roster is just awful, and they're so bad. And now their starting quarterback right now, Kenny Pickett. And the Texans make a move. They get C.J. Gardner-Johnson in the 6th rounder from the Eagles for Kenyon Green in the 5th. This is a good move for the Texans. Gardner-Johnson gets a lot of flack. He talks, a lot of trash. He's gotten into it with some players over the years, but he is a very good player. Last year had 59 tackles and 6 interceptions, including a pick 6. He was excellent in coverage. When the best cover safeties in the league. Can also play corner. Obviously, just won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. A lot of playoff experience. He is a very good defensive back. That's a nice pickup for the Houston Texans. They have a nice little defense there. Obviously, D'Amico Ryan is your head coach. Up front, you got Daniil Hunter and Jonathan Grenard. The kid you drafted, Will Anderson. You got in the secondary. You have Stingley, former top 3 pick. You got Patriot safety. Now you had Gardner Johnson. That's a really good defense. A really good move for the Texans. Kenyon Green from a first-round offensive guard has been really bad since they drafted him. They move on from him. If the Eagles find a way to fix Kenyon Green, I'm done. That's me in the new Mackay back. They're going to throw him in at left guard or right guard. He's going to become a Pro Bowler. I swear to God. But this is a very good move for the Houston Texans to pick up C.J. Gardner-Johnson and add him to their secondary. And the Commanders make a huge move. They add Laremy Tunsil. The Texans trade Laremy Tunsil to the Commanders. They got a 4th rounder. Tunsil, and a 4th rounder also goes to the Commanders. They get a 3rd rounder this year, and then a 2nd and a 4th rounder next year. A 3rd and a 7th this year, and a 2nd and a 4th next year. So a package of picks to get Tunsil. Great move for the Commanders. Laremy Tunsil is one of the best left tackles in all of football. He's very not undisciplined. He did have to take 19 penalties this year, most by any offensive lineman. He jumps a lot. He gets a little grabby. But he, from a blocking standpoint, is one of the best in the entire league. They needed a left tackle to help protect James Daniels Bland. So this is a great move for the Washington Commanders. I'm shocked the Texans trade him. They get a bunch of picks back. But you got a 3 and 7 this year and a 2 and 4 next year. Like, for a team that's in win-down mode, the offensive line is your number 1 concern this offseason, and you trade your best offensive lineman for a bunch of picks, not even a 1st rounder. That didn't make a lot of sense unless he wanted an extension and you couldn't afford it. You didn't want to give it to him. But big move for the Commanders to pick up Laremy Tunsil as they get themselves an all-pro left tackle. Now to the actual signings. A couple of re-signings. Bengals re-signed Samah Pirine, 2 years with $28 million. Well, not re-signing. He was on the Chiefs last year, but they bring him in for 2 years and $3.8 million to bring him back. He's a pretty productive back as like the number 2 guy. He also re-signed B.J. Hill, 3 years, $30 million, $60 million guaranteed. He's a good player. He's a very solid defensive tackle that I bring back. Also, the defense needs a lot of help, especially with Trey Hendrickson possibly heading out of town in a trade. Giants re-signed Darius Slayton, 3 years, $36 million. I mean, this is fine. He's a fine 3. He's had, in the 700-yard range, 4 times in his 6-year career with the Giants, which is pretty impressive considering he's had Daniel Jones and a bunch of other just god-awful quarterbacks as his quarterbacks. But he also does not have very good hands. Didn't have a good year of his past year. 39 catches for 573, 2 scores. I mean, he's a fine third receiver, but put you this way, they could have. Saquon Barkley got 3 for 38 from the Eagles last year, and the Giants were like, nah, I'm good. But 3 for 36 for Darius Slayton. Yeah, I don't understand, but he resigns with the Giants. Saints re-signed Jamar Chase. Not Jamar Chase. Chase Young re-signed with the Saints. 3 years, $51 million, worth up to $57 million. I don't know where the Saints found the money to sign this, considering they came in almost $40 million with the cap, but they did restructure Derek Carr here, which created like $40 million in cap space, so that's probably how. Chase Young, he had a much better year. Obviously, he broke out the 2nd pick by the Commanders a bunch of years ago. We'll expect it to be an incredible talent and to have a great career. Was defensive rookie of the year in his 1st year. 2nd year in the league, he tears his ACL. It completely threw him off for a few years, really derailed his career. He had a better year this year. He had 5.5 sacks and 21 quarterback hits this year. 3 pass fences and a 4 fumble. So his best year since his rookie year overall. Even though 2023 technically had a better year statistically wise because he had 7.5 sacks a year. But overall, I think he had a better year this season. This is a fair deal. I would have still probably, he took a prove-it deal last year after, remember, his last year in Washington, he was just kind of okay, and then he struggled after finishing year with the 49ers 2 years ago. He took a 1-year prove-it deal, played pretty well, still only going to be 26 years old next year. I think this is fair, $17 million a year for 3. If he ever finds himself for a rookie year, maybe get it even better, you can look, maybe lock him up on a longer term extension in a year or two, or maybe when the contract ends in 3 years, he'll look for a even bigger contract. But so I think this is the right thing to do for both sides. So Saints so far have added, re-signed him. He also had Devon Gocha in the middle of that defensive line as well. So re-signed Chase. Vikings re-signed Byron Murphy, 3 years, $66 million. A really good move. Murphy had a career year this year. He was drafted by the Arizona Cardinals originally. He's gotten better every single year this year. 81 tackles and 6 interceptions. Was excellent in coverage. He's emerged as one of the better corners in all of football. Like I said, he's gotten better every single year. He's really good. He's been a big piece of the Vikings secondary the last 2 years. And he was a big guy to get back. I thought he was going to leave in France because he was going to get a lot of money. He did get a pretty big contract. But that's a big piece for the Vikings to re-sign. The 49ers cut Kyle Juszczyk. He's the only roster cut that I had here. That was a surprise. He's a 9-time Pro Bowler as a fullback. He's been with the 49ers for the last 8 years. And, he's a guy who very well respected in the locker room. Fans loved him and saves him just about $3 million in cap space. So, Niners, they're in a cap crunch. After you trade Deebo Samuel away to the Commanders, you've lost some pieces on the offensive line. Now you cut your all-pro fullback, so you're losing a bunch of pieces for sure. So Juszczyk is now a free agent. Bears made a couple of moves. They signed Dayo Odeyingbo, 3 years, $48 million with $32 million guaranteed. Odeyingbo, he's very young. He's with the Colts the last 4 years. He had a very good year 2 years ago where he had 38 tackles, 8 sacks, 17 quarterback hits. He had 2 fumble recoveries, 2 pass defense, and 2 forced fumbles. Slight step back this year. He became a full-time starter this year for the most part, but 31 tackles, 3 sacks, 17 quarterback hits, a fumble recovery, 2 forced fumbles. So slight step back, but he's still going to be 26 years old. Showing the ability to be an impact pass rusher. May fit better as a rotational guy, so we'll see how this works, but much fun we'll give him $16 million, but maybe he breaks down in Chicago, I'm not sure. Maybe in a better scheme, though. The corner is Dennis Allen for the Chicago Bears. But Bears add him to their pass rush, and they continue adding to their defensive line by adding Gerrit. Was surprisingly released by the Falcons, 2-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle. They signed him for 3 years and $43.5 million. That's a good move for the Bears. Gerrit's still a very good player. He is going to be 32 years old, but last year, 53 tackles, 2.5 sacks last year, and 12 quarterback hits. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler and a former All-Pro. He was a long-time Atlanta Falcon. He play on the inside, can play off the edge. He's a very good D lineman. So the Bears, you got Montez Sweat coming off the edge already. Now you add Odeyingbo, a young pass rusher. Now you add Gerrit in the middle. The front of that defense does look very good. You have T.J. Edwards, who's a really good linebacker as well. Got a lot of nice pieces in that second. That Bears defense looks very good. So Bears, look, they're trying to improve the trenches. Obviously, you revamp the interior offensive line by bringing in Joe Thuney, Joe Jackson via trade, and then you sign Drew Dolman as well, who's a really good center. And now you add 2 very good defensive linemen as well, especially Grady Jarrett. Bills signed Josh Palmer, 3 years for $36 million, $18 million guaranteed. I think it's a slight overpay. $18 million guaranteed and $12 a year for Josh Palmer seems like a bit much. He's a fine 3. But last year, 39 catches for 584 and a touchdown. His best year was his second year in 2022 with the Chargers when he had 72 catches for 769 and 3 scores. As I had the same volume since then, but he's a fine third receiver, I'd say. The Bills are kind of overpaying a lot of their receivers. You gave Shakir a big extension early in the year. Now you go out and sign Josh Palmer, so still no true number 1 there. But you do add Josh Palmer. So receiver that of course also includes Khalil Shakir and Kiev Coleman. And I guess he replaces Matt Collins, I guess. We'll get to him in a little bit. Arizona Cardinals signed Josh Sweat. 4 years, $76.4 million. I think this is a really good signing for the Arizona Cardinals. I thought at least one of him or Milton Williams would end up in Arizona. They really need pass rush help badly. He's really good. He's had at least 6 sacks in each of the last 5 seasons. He had 11 3 years ago, 2 years ago, had 6.5, had 8 sacks this past year, along with 41 tackles. Had a big game in the Super Bowl, was very key on their playoff run, the Eagles. He's a really good pass rusher. He's still only 27 years old, so he's a really good pass rusher. Obviously, you pay up for him, but that's a big move for the Cardinals to add a premier pass rusher in Josh Sweat. You've been trying to add, carefully to it over the last couple of years. You drafted Darius Robinson in the first round last year, but now Josh Sweat, if you add another piece in the draft, you'll be looking pretty good. So Josh Sweat to the Arizona Cardinals. Jaguars signed Dime Brown a year for $10 million. Best year of his career thus far, 30 catches for 308 and a touchdown, though he also looked really good in the playoffs. Still going to be 26. Again, he's a serviceable third receiver, but that's about it. And he's the best option to have outside of Brian Thompson, that receiving core, after you trade Christian Kirk and cut Evan Engram. But I'm not sure. He's not a threat by any means. 49ers signed Luke File, 4 years, $20.2 million. He's never had more than 13 to 14 catches in a season. Only had 12 last year. But he's an excellent blocking tight end, one of the best blocking tight ends in the entire NFL. 49ers love their tight ends to be able to block, so he's a good fit there. They add him. I'm sure he'll be behind George Kittle and pecking order. I think he will be a big piece in blocking, especially since they're off the line, which already had issues, got even weaker because he lost a couple of pieces. The 49ers continue to lose guys, though. This time on the defensive end, safety Tulana Hufanga signed with the Broncos, 3 years, $45 million. Little risky signing, but if it works out, this will be a golden signing for the Denver Broncos. He was a first-team All-Pro in 2022 when he had 97 tackles, 9 pass defenses, 4 picks, as well as 2 forced fumbles and 2 sacks. A lot of injuries the last 2 years. Towards Achilles 2 years ago, he's missed a lot of time. Has only played 17 games over the last 2 years. But when healthy, he's one of the best safeties in the league. Like I said, last time he was healthy, he was a first-team All-Pro. If he's healthy, he's one of the premier safeties in the entire league. And the Broncos also signed another former Niners defender, also who's got some injury issues. Dre Greenlaw signed a deal with the Broncos as well. He got 3 years for $35 million. Greenlaw, remember, he tore his Achilles in the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago. So this past year only played a few games, but he had emerged as one of the premier linebackers in the entire league. He had at least 120 tackles in back-to-back seasons prior to this year. He's should be completely fully recovered from that torn Achilles this season, and if he is, he's one of the premier linebackers in the sport. And an already really good Denver Broncos defense under Vance Joseph just got even better by adding Hufanga at safety and Dre Greenlaw at linebacker as well. Packers signed Aaron Banks, 4 years, $77 million. I think this is a bit of an overpay to me. Just over $19 million a year. Banks is a solid guard, but I wouldn't say he's elite. But they do have a nice thing off the line. I didn't think they really need to add another lineman. You did let go of Josh Myers, though, so I'm not sure if they're going to move some pieces around. Then you have him and Jenkins, or Banks and Jenkins are probably the guards. You also have Jordan Morgan, who you drafted in the first round last year as left tackle, and he could play guard. Zach Tom's a really good young tackle you have over there as well. Elton Jenkins can play anywhere on the line, so I wonder, do they move anybody? Do they move Jenkins to center, maybe? Maybe move some pieces around. But Aaron Banks to the Packers at a big contract. Speaking of overpaid O-linemen, Titans did the same thing. Dan Moore Jr. goes with the Titans. 4 years, $82 million, $50 million guaranteed. Again, Moore's a very solid tackle, and he can also play guard, but he also he took a bunch of penalties last year. I think he took 5 penalties, allowed 12 sacks, so he's a solid guard, but certainly not elite. I mean, I do like it to an extent because you have Bill Callahan there as your O-line coach. He's one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. You put it more at left tackle, you can slide J.C. Latham over to right tackle where he played in college. His more natural position, first-round pick last year, 7th overall. And now, maybe he'll help Skoronski a little bit more on the inside. So it's a good fit, but I think you paid him a little more than you probably should have, but he's probably going to get overpaid. Anyway, look at the tackle for agent class. It was kind of The top piece was Ronnie Stanley. He very quickly went back to the Ravens, so outside of that, it was really just Dan Moore and Cam Brown were probably the top 2 pieces available. And even in the draft, I think Will Campbell could be really good, but some people think he's a guard. And then there's a lot of other talented tackles in this class, but a bunch of them might eventually convert to guards. So the tackle class overall in this offseason isn't that deep as it may seem. But speaking of tackles, Chiefs signed one. Jalen Moore got 2 years, $30 million and $21.2 million guaranteed. He took over the left tackle duties down the stretch last year after Trent Williams got hurt and played very well. I think this is a good move for former Chief. On the right side, Jamon Taylor is a penalty machine, and the left tackle's been kind of a hole for them for a while. For a little while now. I know you have Orlando Brown there, but he's always hurt. So you gotta do something about that. So and Suma Tyler has not worked out either. So Jalen Moore's now a Chief. Jets signed Brandon Stevens, 3 years, $36 million. I don't really love this sign for the Jets. He's good against the run, but he's not very good in coverage. He's not a good cover corner. I mean, he's definitely a downgrade from DJ Reed. I wonder if could Will Johnson be an option in the draft? I don't know, but this is not loving the sign, to be honest. He's not a good cover corner by any means. Patriots continue to make moves. They signed Mac Holland, 2 years, $8.4 million. Holland's played pretty well for the Bills this past season. I will admit he had a pretty good year. 31 catches for 378 and 5 touchdowns. He made some big catches in the playoffs. His best year was with the Raiders in 2022. He had 57 for 690 and 4 scores. He's just a fine deep threat, serviceable 3. They still need another weapon for sure. I think they should definitely talk about in the draft. I know when I'm hearing Ted McMillan's going to not go nearly as high as he thought, but I don't think it's a bad idea to take him at 4, to be honest, if you're the Patriots, because they definitely need a number 1 receiver. I know they've missed on a lot of receivers in the last couple of years. Last year they went after a bunch of guys from, even the year before from the injury, Hopkins and Justin Jefferson and a bunch of guys that they called about AJ Brown. I doubt Eagles would trade him. They're going for DK Metcalf. He's going to Pittsburgh. Went after Chris Godwin. They didn't get him, so not really sure where they're going with their wide receiver search. They also signed Robert Spillane, 3 years, $37.5 million, $20.6 million guaranteed. I think this is a good signing for them. Give him a lot of money, but he's emerged as one of the best linebackers in the league. Last year, 158 tackles and 7 pass defenses. The year before that, had 148 tackles, 4 pass defenses, and a forced fumble. He had 3 picks 2 years ago. Last year, had 2. He's a really good linebacker. He's not very good in coverage, but he's excellent against the run. Great tackler. That's a nice piece to add for the Patriots. He had a lot of injuries up front last year. From Barmore, obviously you traded Mac Judon right before the year, Bentley, so that should help depth-wise. Obviously, you bring in Milton Williams and Harold Landry up front. You get Christian Barmore back, and Bentley back, and then you also have Robert Spillane as well. So their defense is definitely going to be very much so revamped, and with Mike Vrabel as the head coach. Yeah, Chris Gonzalez on the back end with Kyle Duggar. That's a hell of a defense the Patriots are going to have. Vikings signed a pair of interior O-linemen. They had Ryan Kelly, 2 years, $18 million. Kelly getting a little bit older, but still one of the better centers in the league. He's been with the Colts his entire career. Really good move for the Vikings. Definitely an upgrade. They also signed Will Fries. Put the fries in the bag, Vikings. You signed Will Fries, 5 years, $88 million. He emerged as one of the best young guards in the league down the stretch last year. Was one of the best guards in the league the back half of the year last year. He gets a huge deal from the Vikings for a guy who's just kind of emerging. He get a lot of money back. He's only 26 years old. Young linemen don't grow on trees. Vikings got to protect J.J. McCarthy, who's obviously a young quarterback who didn't play his rookie year because of a knee injury. So he's a young quarterback who's never played before, coming off an injury. Got to keep him protected, especially since he's not very mobile. And now, you have a couple of interior guys who are free agents, including Ezra Cleveland, who had a good year at the guard spot for the Vikings last year. And now you address that with Ryan Kelly and Will Fries, adding those guys to your interior of your offensive line. They also signed Jonathan Allen, 3 years, $60 million. That's a really good move for them. Allen's a really good player. Was injured a lot last year, missed like half the year with injuries, but he's been healthy for most of his career. From our first round pick by the Commanders, he's a very good defensive tackle. Can push the pocket, can play against the run. He's really good. That's a big piece for you to add. Now you got him, Dallas Turner, and Jonathan Grenard on that D line. This Vikings team looks really good. And remember, they won 14 games last year. Lost in the first round of the playoffs, but they won 14 games last year. If JJ McCarthy goes out there and just even game manages with the weapons they have on offense. He brought back Jones. The defense looks like it's going to be mostly intact. Byron Murphy is coming back. He's got guys like Howard Smith. Obviously, I mentioned the pass rushers. Now you add Jonathan Allen in the middle there. Brian Flores is still the defensive coordinator. They could be in good shape to have another really good season. The NFC North is going to be really competitive once again with the Lions, Vikings, and the Packers, and the Bears got better as well. I mean, obviously, you know how I feel about Caleb Williams, but the team definitely got better. They haven't re-signed Keenan Allen yet, but the offensive line looks a lot better, and now you add to the defensive line as well. That division is going to be a bloodbath next year. Chargers signed Najee Harris a year for $9.5 million. I know that's a little steep for Najee Harris, but he seems like the way people talk about it, you would think, oh, this guy's like a horrible running back. He's had 1,000 yards or more in all 4 of his seasons. He's not been quite the player we thought. His rookie year, he ran for 1,200 yards and has 74 catches. He has not had more than 41 catches in a season since, and he's never had more than 4.1 yards a carry. But he's a solid running back. Chargers are going to want to run the ball. You have Jim Harbaugh as your head coach and Greg Roman as your offensive coordinator. You're going to be a run first team, obviously. J.K. Dobbins still a free agent. He's got all sorts of injury concerns. You let go of Gus Edwards. Najee Harris is his replacement. Probably an upgrade. Dobbins, when healthy, I think is more explosive than Harris for sure, and probably better talent. But he's always hurt. So Harris is definitely he's a guy. He's much more reliable. He goes up for 17 games. You can give him as many carries as you want. He's a solid back, and the Chargers bring him in to get their new running back one. Colts make a move. They signed Charvarius Ward, 3 years, $60 million, $35 million guaranteed. This is a good move for the Colts that even need all the help they can get, especially in the secondary. He had a tough year last year. Just really, really brutal personal stuff going on. With obviously, he lost a very young daughter, which is why he wanted to get out of San Francisco. It just really scarred him. So really unfortunate situation. But he's a really good player. He started with the Chiefs, then with the 49ers the last 2 years. His last full season that he played was 23. He was a second team All-Pro and a Pro Bowler. He led the league of 23 pass defense, had 5 picks, 72 tackles. Even in the down year, still had 54 tackles, 7 pass defenses. I think he definitely bounces back with the Indianapolis Colts. He's a really good defensive back and play corner, and he can also play safety. He's a very good player. Colts at him. 2-bear secondary. And you're running down here. Cowboys make a move. Jerry Jones woke up from his nap, I guess, to sign Javonte Williams. A year for $3.5 million. I mean, he's a fine back, I guess. He's okay. He played very well in his rookie year back in 2021. Ran for 903 yards and 4 scores, almost 4.5 yards a carry. And towards ACL in 2022, early on, has not been the same since. His average under 4 yards a carry each of the last 2 seasons. Has not had more than 217 carries in each. He's a solid pass catching back, and he's still only 24 years old. So maybe he finds his rookie year self, but at this point, he seems like more of a complimentary back. I mean, he didn't even give you a full workload in college. He spent time at UNC with Michael Carter back in his college days. Was second rounder by the Broncos. Never had more than 217 carries in the season. So and Rico Dowdle is a free agent. So once they bring in another back, I wonder if he falls in, will they draft him? I would still do it honestly. But he's the best running back on the roster right now with Rico Dowdle hitting the market. But to me, if Dowdle was the player he was down the stretch last year, this is a downgrade from Rico Dowdle, to be honest. Javonte Williams. That's the only move they've really made. They made one move. They signed Solomon Thomas 2 years for $8 million. He's from what he's been a complete bust since being, I think, the second pick from the draft or the third pick from the draft by the 49ers a few years ago. They could draft Patrick Mahomes, by the way. Just letting you know. Just putting it out there. Just letting you know. They traded back a spot with the Bears, and the Bears moved up to get Trubisky, and they got Solomon Thomas. He had a decent year with the Jets last year. Also, he drove the Jets out to the 49ers. Of course, he knew Robert Saleh when he was in San Francisco. He had 4 sacks last year. He was not a starter as a rotational defensive lineman. Had 4 sacks, and if the Cowboys keep him in that role, that's fine. But you have Oso over there. You just give him a big extension. He's very good. I mean, Mozzie Smith's been really bad. Being a first-round pick, that was a mega reach anyway. So he's maybe the second best D tackle on your roster. You're probably going to lose to Marcus Lawrence in free agency. But otherwise, I don't know what the Cowboys are really doing. Once again. And there's two more moves that happen. The Colts made another move. This one a little more questionable. They signed Daniel Jones a year for $14 million. So if I had to guess, he will be your starter next year. I don't know why. He's horrible. I mean, Anthony Richardson does not inspire a lot of confidence either. They haven't done a great job developing him either, but he has not inspired a lot of confidence. Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson in one quarterback room, that's just beyond dreadful. Jones is horrible. I don't even think he should be in the league anymore. I can't believe that guy was the 6th pick in the draft in 2019. I don't understand. I don't understand what they see in this guy. I knew teams were desperate, and we were gonna see, like the Dolphins signed Zach Wilson the year for $6 million. He'll probably get a shot at some point when Tua inevitably gets hurt for a couple of games, and Joe Milton might get traded somewhere. Maybe might get a shot at some point. But I didn't think we'd see Kenny Pickett and Daniel Jones get another chance to start. Goodness gracious, wow, just wow. But last move I have Javon Holland signed with the Giants, 3 years, $45.3 million. Very good move for the New York Giants. He's a really good safety. Obviously, you let Xavier McKinney walk last year. Big mistake. He would love to get picked last year, but had 62 tackles this past year. Slight down year from what his career norms are, but you made the coordinator change going from Vic Fangio to Anthony Weaver. That's why the defense regressed. He's still only 25. He's a very good safety. I think I can see him bouncing back with the Giants. He's a good player. I think he'll be closer to the previous 2 years. Where in 22 he had 95 tackles and a sack and a half and 2 picks. The year after that, 74 tackles and an interception. So I think he'll be close to that. That's what he should be in a better system. Let's see, did any more moves drop while I was doing this? No. So all I got for you guys today. Till next time. So long. Have a great day.